welcome to day 14 of the Resistant Starch Challenge. So I am making a recipe today that is from a website called acouplecooks.com, and I am making a vegan meatball recipe. And I think that this is going to be like super awesome and exciting. I'm really excited about this recipe actually. I'm going to serve this over rice, and I'm going to make their easy vegan gravy that goes with it. I've already got the rice going right here. So anyways, the first thing that you need to do is you take 3 cups of frozen veggies and a can of chickpeas, and you put them in a pot and you cook them for about 4 to 5 minutes. So you want to put spices on them, and these smell fantastic. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. So you put a teaspoon of oregano, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of paprika, and then how much? 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper, which I didn't measure the ground black pepper, I just sprinkled that on the top. So I've done this step already. So it's good to go. This is ready to go. This is ready for the next step in the process. So now that that's ready, basically what it tells you to do, ooh, the oven is ready, very good. So what it tells you to do now is to pulse this. It says add the vegetables to the food processor and pulse this. So we're going to do that. Alrighty, so vegetables, seasoning, they're in there. It also has you adding 1/2 cup of whole wheat flour. I'm going to use buckwheat flour. I think that this will actually work out really well for this recipe. There we go, 1/2 cup. It does say on here that you need to pulse this. It says 20 times, so it's very specific. But it also says that you need to scrape down the sides, so let's do this quick. Alright guys, so this step is done. That was very easy. So we cooked the chickpeas and the vegetables for 5 minutes, and then just put them in here to food process them with a 1/2 cup of flour. So it says to take a cookie spoon or something along those lines and make 40 to 46 balls out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and put that on a baking sheet and then get them in the oven. These cook for 30 minutes. It does say that you're supposed to brush the pan with oil. I'm not going to, but it does say that you're supposed to do that. Brush, excuse me, the meatballs when you put them on there. We should call them veggie balls, I suppose, instead of meatballs, but whatever. So it says to bake the meatballs for 30 minutes, rotating the pan at 15 minutes to allow for an even bake. If your oven bakes evenly, more power to you. Mine does not. I will be rotating them at 15 minutes. And then allow them to cool for 10 minutes. So while you're doing this, allowing this to bake, you then make the gravy. So I will be back with you guys as soon as I get this in the oven, and we will make some gravy. Alright guys, so veggie balls are cooking, and it is time to talk about making this gravy. So you are supposed to take a large shallot and chop it up, mince it really finely, so about 1/3 cup. It did say in the meatball recipe that if you're making the meatball recipe and you're making their vegan gravy recipe, that you need to double the recipe for the sauce. So I am doing that. I do have shallots, and I do have large shallots, but I didn't feel like chopping up a shallot because I had like this much of an onion left in the refrigerator. So I'm just going to use an onion that I chopped up. I did mince it. It's some tiny little pieces. So this is actually like normal gravy. I didn't want to do it in parts and show you parts and pieces because it's like normal gravy. You gotta stir it all the time. So we're just gonna talk about what I'm going to go and do and how I'm going to go do it, and then you guys will see it when it's done, and that'll have to work. So basically in this pan, you are supposed to warm up coconut oil or butter and olive oil. I am obviously going to skip that part. I'm actually just going to use the goo off of a can of the chickpeas. So it's supposed to be 6 tablespoons total, so 12, seeing as I'm doubling it. There's 10 in there, and I've got a little bit more in the can that I have set aside. So I'm going to go ahead and cook the onion in that. And it says cook that for 2 minutes, and then you want to add fennel, thyme, cayenne, and cook for 30 seconds until fragrant, which is such a wonderful thing to say. Okay, here's the deal. I have thyme, I have fennel. I'm not using cayenne. I mean, you guys know me well enough to know I'm not using cayenne at all, because that totally won't work for me. But I hate fennel, and I don't hate fennel. I shouldn't say that. I dislike fennel. Like I didn't like before I was vegan. I didn't like sausage, and I'm pretty sure it was fennel was the reason. chomping into a seed of fennel to me is just horrible. I hate that. I really, really, really dislike that. It's really gross to me. So I took my teaspoon of fennel, which I should have used 2 because I'm doubling the recipe, but I'm gonna be conservative and only use 1 teaspoon because I'm, again, not a huge, huge fan of fennel, but I definitely don't want to bite into one of these seeds. I have them, but I very rarely use them. So I got the our coffee grinder, which we don't drink coffee, so spice grinder is what we use it for. And I went ahead and just buzzed up 1 teaspoon. So I'm going to use a teaspoon of the fennel, but but it's ground. I don't want to bite into a piece of fennel. That to me has 0 appeal whatsoever. So you've cooked your onion and your spices. You do that for a couple of minutes. And then you want to add in flour. It calls for, so seeing as I'm doubling it, 1/2 cup of flour. Again, I'm going to use the buckwheat flour. I think that will be just fine. I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be fine. It wouldn't be a bad idea maybe to do half buckwheat flour and half potato starch, seeing as the potato starch is a super, super resistant starch. I think I will do that, except I'm not gonna do half and half. I will use 1/4 cup of the buckwheat flour, 2 tablespoons of buckwheat flour, and 2 tablespoons of potato starch. I don't want it to be too gummy, so I don't want to put too much of the starch in there. So that's what I'm going to do with that. Great idea. So you add the flour and you continue to cook that for a few minutes until the shallots turn brown or start browning. And then you reduce the heat, add some veggie broth, and stir until smooth and thickened, about 5 minutes. And you want to stir in, it says almond milk, I'm using soy milk, and soy sauce. So, again, this recipe, I always link stuff in the description box below for you guys, so you'll be able to go and look at this recipe and see if it's something that you want to put in your belly. But I'm actually really excited. I think that this should taste pretty good. I'm hoping that it tastes really good. I'm not 100% sure. It's something totally different, something I've not done before. So there you go. This is an experiment for us, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go put this together, and then it says on the recipe for the meatballs to let them cool for 10 minutes before you put them in the gravy, which, okay, that's fine. Like I told you, I've already made brown rice. That's what I'm going to eat it on. I'm going to serve it on that. And the reason that I decided on brown rice, because I think this would go really well with mashed potatoes, to be honest with you. But the reason I decided on brown rice is because I'm making brown rice pudding for my boys for breakfast. And that works very well. So there you go. All right, I'm going to go put this together, and then I will come back with a plate of food, and you guys can look at it, and we will try it and see if it is wonderful. I'm really hoping that it's going to taste at least good, seeing as this is what I want to eat for the rest of the day. So we shall see. Alrighty, guys, I'll see you again soon. Alrighty, guys, so I wanted to have an up-close video or picture of this wonderful food that I have made. This is my husband's plate. I'm going to stick this in the microwave, and he can eat. He sometimes eats breakfast, and sometimes he doesn't and eats an early lunch. I don't know, whatever. But if there's food in the microwave for him, he'll probably just wait and not have breakfast unless he's starved Marvin, and then he'll just have a big lunch. So we gotta talk about this. This plate of food is amazing. Like, this is super, super fantastic. So the veggie meatballs are not really anything to worth writing home about, to be honest with you. They're not all that awesome. They're good, don't get me wrong. They've got a great consistency. They cook just fine. They were easy to make. If you had put salt in them, they probably would have tasted a little bit better. They're kind of plain. It's just a vegetable and a chickpea. The spices are good in it, but it's still just a little bit plain. However, in combination with the gravy, oh my gosh, this is super, super, super good. Like, this is really, really good. I was super impressed. So I have 2 containers for me to take with me. I'm not taking oatmeal today. I'm just gonna have this. I've got another container that has 7 little meatballs still in it, and the rest of the gravy on top of that. And this is my husband's plate that he's going to have for lunch. So this made plenty of food, like lots of food. This is great. This is plenty for 2 people for a full day, and probably for 2 people for a full day, no problems. You gotta serve it over something, so brown rice. My rice pudding is good to go for the boys for breakfast this morning. And I still have an hour before I need to leave for work, which is super awesome. I'm going to go upstairs and take my my 2 tops back off and put on a tank top and put on some leggings instead, and go and ride the bike for 20 minutes. Maybe longer. I've got plenty of time. I've got an hour before I need to leave for work, which is super exciting, and my kitchen is clean even. I'm like Energizer Bunny this morning, I guess. Anyways, I don't need to tell you guys about this because I have tried it and it is fantastic. Like, you really should try and make this. It actually is really, really good. It was very easy. It's very healthy. It's super, super tasty. I'm actually very impressed with the gravy. It's very good. I will put a note on here if my husband feels differently about it to let you guys know, but I'm this will be right up his alley. The one thing I would think to do with this, it's brown rice with brown gravy with brown little meatball things. So I really probably should like steam some asparagus or put some broccoli pieces on here or something like that to make it a little bit greener and a little bit healthier as far as that goes. But there are green beans and peas in there. You just can't see them. So anyways, that's it for me for today, guys. I am also not having a banana drink this morning because my bananas are like super ripe, which totally gets rid of any of the resistant starch, so it kind of defeats the purpose. So anyways, that's it. I will see you guys again tomorrow. I hope you're having a great day, and yeah, bye.